Welcome all. Hope all of you are doing well and safe. This video is for those who want to learn Linux. Linux is an operating system that manages systems hardware and resources like CPU, memory, and storage. OS sits between applications and hardware and makes the connections between software and the physical resources that do the work. Today, in this video, we will see most frequently used Linux commands. Once you log into Linux, the window will be similar to like this. And if you want to know with which user we currently logged in, if we use a who am I, it will give the username of a current logged in user. And if you want to know the current host name or server name, if you give the host name, it will return the server name of the current logged in. Host name will give the current server name or host name. And if you want to know the IP address of the current host name or server name, if you give host name -i, it will, if you give the host name -i, it will give the IP address of current server. Uptime, it will give the current timestamp and from how long the system is up and running, and load average. It will give those details. Date, date will give the complete date. Date will display the current date and time in the system's configured time zone. Who am I? It will display the username of current logged in user. Host name, it will display the current host or server name. Host name -i, it will display the IP address of current server or host. Uptime, it will display the current time and how long the system has been running and the load average on the system. Date, it will display the current date and time in the system's configured time zone. If you want to see the year alone, we can, so now we are able to see the year alone. If you want to see year and month, if you want the date as well, then so now we are seeing year, month and date. And if you want to add time as well, so now we are able to see the date and time in a different format. Usually we will see these kind of a date format, date and time format in the logs. Next, PWD, it stands for print working directory, and it will display the absolute path of current working directory. It means in which directory we are currently in. ls, it will list all the files available in current directory, but here there are no files, that's why it's showing nothing. So now if we want to create any file, we'll use touch space file name. For example, I'm giving file name .txt. Now it will create the empty file with the file name .txt. So now if we give ls, it will list out here. That means in current directory there is one file which is file name .txt. So we will create one more file, touch demo.txt, give ls. Now we have two files. One is demo.txt, one is file name.txt. So this is the way how we will create a file. This is how we will create an empty file. There won't be any data. To see the content in a file, we'll use a cat command and file name. So if we give a cat space file name, that is a demo.txt, it should return the content. It should display the content in a file. But we just created a file, but we didn't add any content to the file. So that's why it is showing nothing. So the touch command is used to create a new empty file, and ls will display all the files and directories which are currently available in current directory. ls-l will display the current directory content in a detailed long format. It provides a comprehensive view of the file and directories within a specified directory, including various metadata and permissions information. ls-la, it will display the data, it will display the hidden files as well. There is one more way to create a file, that is called vi. The vi command is used to open an existing file or create a new file if the file does not exist. So now we are trying to see demo2.txt. So if the file already there, means it will open that existing file demo2.txt. If the file not available, then it will create a new file with the name demo2.txt, and it will open in a vi mode. See, now we change to vi mode. In the vi modes, we have a few modes: command mode, insert mode. Command mode means once you give vi and space file name and enter, it will come to this section. This is called command mode. Here, whatever the content you are entering, it won't store in the file. So to enter the data in a file, we need to switch to insert mode. If you press I from the keyboard, it will change it to insert mode. So you can see in the bottom it is showing demo2.txt. Now once we press I, it will change it to insert mode. Now it changes to insert mode. Now we can add the data whatever you want. So I'm entering some random content. So now if you want to save the data, you have to press escape. Once you press escape, it will change the mode from insert mode to command mode again. Now insert gone. So now we are in command mode. Once you are in command mode, if you want to exit, then if you can press colon. So when I press colon, in the bottom it is showing colon, Q and not. If you press enter, it will come out without saving anything. If you want to save the content, press colon W Q not. So it will save and exit. Now we will see if you give ls. So earlier demo2.txt was not there. So now we have created demo2.txt with the va command so that it create a new file, and we have already added some content in that file. So if you want to see the content in a file, we can use the cat command. The cat command will display the content of a file. So to display the content of a file, you have to give cat space file name. I'm giving demo2.txt. This is the file which we added content recently. See, now we are able to see the data. And if you want to append the data to the same file, we have to use a va command again. So as we discussed earlier, so va command will create a new file if the file does not exist, or if the file already exists, it will open that file. So earlier we don't have a file name demo2.txt, so that's why it was created. Now when we give the same command again, it will open the file in command mode. Since demo2.txt file already exists, va command display the content of demo2.txt file. So now if you want to add the new content to the existing data, we have to switch the mode from command mode to insert mode. So currently the data is showing in under command mode. Now if you want to change it to insert mode, you have to press I. So once we press I, the mode will be changed to insert mode. You can see in the left bottom. I'm pressing I now. Now it changed to insert mode. So that means we can add any new content. So I'm typing few words. So I have added a few words, and now I want to change, like now I want to save the data. So to save the data, we have to press escape. Then it will come from insert mode to command mode again. Now it came to command mode. To save the content, I have to give colon W Q not. It will save and exit. Now to see the data again, if we give a cat demo2.txt, it will display. See, now we are able to see the appended data. Now we'll try to add data to one more file. So in demo.txt, there is no data. And now currently it is in a command mode. To change it to insert mode, we have to press I. Then it will change to insert mode. Now it is changed to insert mode. So now I have added some content in demo.txt. So currently it is in insert mode. To change, to save the changes, you have to switch to insert mode to command mode. I'm giving escape so that now it came to command mode. To save the changes, you have to give colon. Once you're in command mode, if you give the colon, it will show in left bottom. You have to give W Q not. So it will save the content. To see the content, we can give the cat. We'll create one more file, 3.txt. Now it is in command mode. Press I, switch to insert mode, add some content. So we have added a few words, and currently it is in insert mode. To exit without saving, we have to switch from insert mode to command mode. If we give escape, we'll switch from insert mode to a command mode. To exit, give colon q not. If we give q not, it won't save the content in a file. It will simply exit without saving. So I'm pressing enter. If we give wq, if we give wq not, it will save the data. If you only give q not, it won't save the data. It will exit simply. See, we did not save the data. That's why file itself was not created. We gave the VI and demo3.txt, but we didn't save anything. That's why file itself not created. Now we will see more about cat command. Usually cat will display the content of a file. If we give the cat space file name, it will display the content of that file. We can also see multiple files data. For example, demo.txt, demo2.txt. I'm giving two files. Let's see how it will show. And we'll see what is there in a demo file. So in demo.txt, there is only one line, which is showing in the first line, because we give demo.txt in the first. The second demo2.txt we give. So that the content which is there in a demo2.txt, it is showing after the content of demo.txt. See, see, if we give how many files you want, it will display continuously one by one. Here first line is from demo.txt. There is only one line in that file. After displaying the content from first file, continuously it will display the content from the second file as well, continuously. See, now we are able to see the content of two files, demo.txt and demo2.txt. And we can also store the data in a third file as well. So now if you want to store the data of demo.txt and demo2.txt, and it needs to be stored in a third file, combined file.txt. It will store it will get the data from demo.txt and add it to combined file.txt and get the demo2.txt file content and append it to combined file.txt. So if you want to see, Now combined file.txt contains the data from demo.txt and demo2.txt. I'm creating a file application.log. Switch to insert mode. I'm entering the data. I'm entering some log content for further analysis and further learning. I'm saving the file and exit. I'm trying to see the content. So now the content is there. This is the file which we added now. So now our next command is head. Head command is used to display the beginning lines of a file. By default, this command will display first 10 lines of a file. If you give head space file name, it will give the first 10 lines of content from that file. Here we are giving head space application.log as a file name. So it will give first 10 lines of that file. And we can also specify how many number of lines we want to display. For example, head space 2 application.log. So it will display the first 2 lines. Okay. Head -2 application.log. So here we mentioned 2, so it will give first 2 lines. If you give 5, it will give first 5 lines. If you give nothing, it will display automatically first 10 lines. And if you want to see first 15 lines, it will display first 15 lines. If you specify the number, it will give that many lines. If you give without number, it will display first 10 lines. Similar way, we have one more command, tail. It will display last 10 lines. If we give tail space file name, it will display last 10 lines of that file. Here we are giving tail space application.log as a file name. So we press enter. It will display last 10 lines of that file. Last 10 lines of application.log file. Same way as head, if we give the number -2, it will display last 2 lines. It will display -12, it will display last 12 lines. Whatever the number you give, it will display that many lines. By default, it will display that last 10 lines of a file. And we have a few more commands similar to these. Less and file name. It will display the contents of a file and navigate through it. Less command allows to view the content of a file and navigate through it. For example, less, if you give the file name, it will show the result, it will show the content of a file, and if you press enter, it will show the continuous lines of that data. So if you keep on pressing enter, we can see the data until that file end. So the file end, so there is no more data, so it's showing end. Similarly, if you give more, it is showing how much data we are seeing. It is showing we see the data up to 19%, and if we press enter, it will show the continuous data, next lines from the last line. And if you see, if you observe the percentage as well, it is getting increased. So as of now, we saw 32% of data in a application.log file. In this way, we can see the data. Next command is mkdir. This command is used to create directories. So to create a directory, you have to give mkdir space directory name. Press ls. So it's created a dir1 as a directory. So to see properly, see, this is the directory, and you see here it is showing as a D. D means it's a directory. So there is no D means it's a file. So if you see others, these are all files. Okay. This is a directory. So by seeing this data here, we can identify whether it is file or a directory. So now we have created a dir1. You can also create multiple directories at a time. I'm giving mkdir space dir2 space dir3 space dir4 space dir5 and see what will happen. Funnel. So we have created 4 directories. So now totally we have 5 directories: dir1, dir2, dir3, dir4, dir5. Yeah, these 5 directories. So we can create a single directory, or we can create a multiple directories at a time. And if you want to go to the directory, you have to give cd. It means change directory, and we have to give the directory name to which directory we want to change. So before that, we will see in which directory we are currently in. pwd, we are under /home/Hari. So now if we want to move to any directory, we have to give cd command space directory name. So for example, we'll give direct1. So if you give cd space direct dir1, we will change from the current directory to dir1 directory. See, now we are in dir directory. To verify that, again we will give pwd. So now earlier we were in a /home/hurry. Now we are in /home/hurry. Inside that dir1. And if you see for any content, so there is no content, there is no files, so there is no directories. So we'll create one more subdirectory, mkdir, directory name, subdirectory 1. See, we have one directory. Similar way, we will create some file. To create a file, we'll use va command and file name log, switch to insert mode, copying some content, pasting it here. Save ls. Now we have one directory and one file. So content also available in that file. Now we are in directory 1. If you want to go to subdirectory again, use cd space subdirectory. Now we enter to subdirectory 1. Now we are in home/hurry/dir1/subdirectory. If you want to go to home directory, you give cd, press enter, you will go to home directory. Home directory is /home/hurry. Again, if you want to go to the previous directory, cd space, cd hyphen cd space hyphen. So again, we entered to previous directory which we were earlier in. We'll go to previous directory which we were in earlier. If you want to switch one directory back, if you give cd space dot, we'll move one directory back. That is, from earlier we were in subdirectory 1. Now we moved out of subdirectory 1 and we are currently in directory 1. Earlier we are in the directory of subdirectory 1. We came out from that. So now we are in parent directory of subdirectory 1. Next is cp. cp command is used to copy files and directories. If you want to take a backup of any file, we have to use cp space file name which we need to take backup. Give a new name. I'm giving date along with the file name. Now if you see ls-l, you have created the copy of temp file. To verify that, cat so same content available. So we took the backup of temp.log file by using copy cp command. And we can also copy the content to directory. For example, if you want to here, we are copying these two files to subdirectory. So if you press enter, if you see ls-l, two files are there, but we can see the copy of these two files in subdirectory 1. So if we move to subdirectory, we have to give cd command. If we go to subdirectory, ls-l, see, we have a copy of those two files here. I'm going back to the parent directory of subdirectory 1. To do that, we have to give cd space dot dot, so it will go back to one directory. We can also create a copy of a directory, cp space subdirectory. You're giving I have to give -r. So now we have created a copy of subdirectory 1 as a subdirectory 2. So if you see, we have two directories. Earlier we have subdirectory 1. Now we have created a copy of subdirectory 1 with the name of subdirectory 2. So if you enter to subdirectory 2, you can see the same content which is available in subdirectory 1. Same files. And if you want to create a copy of those files again, you can create a copy of those files. Now I have created more files, the copy of a temp.log, which we can use in further sessions. Our next command is rm. This command is to remove or delete files and directories. You can delete individual files, individual directories, and we can also delete multiple files at a time. For example, here I would like to remove this backup file. So the syntax is rm space file name. So it will remove the file from that present directory. Currently we are in subdirectory 2 and we have these many files, and now I would like to delete this file. So delete this file, I'm giving rm and file name. Once you press enter, that file will be deleted. To verify that, if we give ls, so now we have only 3 files. Earlier we were having 4 files. This is how we'll delete a file. And we can also delete multiple files at a time. So rm space, if you want to delete temp2 file and temp3 file, and we can also give multiple, one more file or two, you can add a number of files. If you press enter, it will delete all those files. To verify that, if we give ls, so earlier we have 3, now we have only 1 file. So we have removed temp2.log and temp3.log. Now we saw how to remove a single file and how to remove multiple files. Now we'll see how to remove a directory. So to remove a directory, so first we'll see any directories are available in current directory. See pwd, we are in subdirectory 2 and ls-l. See, there is only one file and there are no directories in current directory. So we'll go back one directory and we'll see, are there any multiple directories. Yeah, here we have a multiple directories. So now earlier we were in subdirectory 2 and subdirectory 2 have one file. So now we will try to remove the subdirectory 2. To remove a directory, we have to give rm space directory name. Here we are giving here we are giving subdirectory 2. It's saying we cannot remove subdirectory. We'll see what will happen. What happening? Okay, so we are not able to remove the directory. So for that, first we'll see, is there any files or directories available within subdirectory 2. To do that, cd subdirectory 2 ls. If you see there is one file in subdirectory 2, that might be the reason we are not able to delete that subdirectory. So what we can do is we'll remove the file. Now see, there are no files. There are no files in a subdirectory 2. So we are in subdirectory 2 and there are no files. So now we'll go to previous directory or parent directory. Now we'll try to remove subdirectory 2. Now we'll try to remove subdirectory 2. Okay. Remove -r subdirectory 2. Now we give -r So it will forcefully remove subdirectory 2. Now we will see. So there is no subdirectory 2. We'll try it once again. To do that, we'll take the copy of subdirectory and create a subdirectory 2. So to do that, -r. Now we have subdirectory 2, and subdirectory 2 also contain all the data which is there in a subdirectory 1. To see that, you have to go to subdirectory 2, give cd subdirectory 2 ls. See, there are two files that subdirectory 2. So we'll go back again to parent directory. So now I'm trying to remove subdirectory 2. To do that, you have to give -r subdirectory 2, give ls. Now we have removed subdirectory 2 successfully. Now we'll see whether we'll be able to remove more than one subdirectories at a time. So for that, we have only one subdirectory, so that we'll take a copy of subdirectory 1. Now we have created a copy of subdirectory 1 to subdirectory 2, subdirectory 3, subdirectory 4. Now we'll try to remove multiple subdirectories. For example, subdirectory 2, subdirectory 3. We'll give subdirectory 4 as well. We'll see whether it will happen. We are able to remove subdirectory 3 and subdirectory 4 successfully. So this way we can remove single file or a single directory, or multiple files, multiple directories. Next command is move. If you want to move any files from one location to another location, we can use move command. First we'll see where we are in. We are in we are in directory 1, and we'll see list of files. We have a subdirectory 1, subdirectory 2, and we have two files. mv. This command is used to move or rename files and directories. It allows to move files and directories from one location to another, as well as rename them. For example, let's see, we'll try to move temp file from current directory to subdirectory 2. Before moving file, we'll see if there is any file with the same name in that subdirectory 2. To check that, go to subdirectory 2, ls. See, we have a file with the temp.log already. We'll rename the current file. See, we moved the file from current directory to current directory again. So here we moved temp.log file from current directory to current directory itself with a different name. It is called renaming the file. So that earlier in subdirectory 2 there was a temp.log file available. So we renamed that to temp underscore. We renamed that to temp underscore bkp.log, backup.log. So here with the move command, we renamed the existing file without moving the file to any location. This is how we rename the file. We'll go back to parent directory. See, now we saw how to rename the file. Now we'll see how we'll move the file from one location to another. To move MV, how to give file and to which location we want to move. So we need to move it to subdirectory 2. So here we are moving temp.log file from current directory to subdirectory 2. So if you see, so temp.log file has been moved, and we'll see, we'll go to subdirectory 2. See, now temp.log file is there. So we moved the temp.log file from parent directory to subdirectory. Our next command is grep. Grep command is mainly used for such particular word in a file or a content. For example, here we will take a file as application.log, and before we grep anything, let's see what is there in application.log. See, earlier I have placed some content in application.log. Now we will grep something from that application.log. For example, so to grep, the keyword is grep space, and we have to give the word, which word we need to check. For example, I'm giving application as a word, and I'm searching this word in application.log. So the command is grep application.log and see the result. So the grep command go line by line in application.log file and search for application keyword, and if the application word is there in that line, it will return that line, and it will go to the next line again, check for application word. It will go through entire file and returns each line which contains the application keyword. So we will search with some other keyword, some other search word, grep space, I'm giving capital application now. So now if you see, when we give application keyword with the small cases, we got 3 lines, and when we give application keyword with the capital A, it gave around 6 lines. So, and these two lines, these two results are not matched with each other, because in the first case the grep command returns the lines which contains a small application keyword. The second such result, we are receiving the lines which contains the application with caps A. So it means it's case sensitive. And we'll search for some other word. we are searching for error keyword, so nothing is there. So again we will check for, see, we have one line, the error details. Similar way, if you want to uh, ignore the case sensitive, that means you can use grep hyphen I. It will ignore that, and if you give, so here it returning both caps A and smaller letter A application keywords, which contains those two words. Any one of those two words are there means it will return that entire line. I'm searching for the word shutdown in that application.log file, where we got a few lines. So this way we will search for any particular error or a keyword in a log file. We can also give the keyword in double quotes or single quotes, anything. We can also use single quotes. For example, if you want to combine, we want to search for two or more words, that time we will use single quotes or double quotes. We'll use when we want to search for multiple words, that time. See? And if you want to search for a keyword in more than one file also, we can do. For example, we'll take two files. Here we have a application.log file, so we'll take a copy of that file first, then we'll use it. So now we have two files. One is app.log and application.log file. We have two files. So now we will search for a keyword error in both files. Grep, I'm searching for error keyword in application.log file and application.log file. One is app.log and second one is application.log. We are searching for the keyword error in two files now. So if you observe the first line, we are getting the error keyword lines from first file. There is only one line, so it written one line, and after that it returning the lines from second log file. So here we have only one line in each file, so that we will check for any different word so that we can understand properly. So I'm giving grep and giving application keyword for searching in app.log file, application.log file. See, so grep command searching for the application keyword in app.log file first, and it returning those lines. We have a three lines with this application keyword. After that, again it's searching for the application keyword in application.log file, and it returning those lines as well. So Like this way, we can search for any particular keyword in more than one file. Similar way, if you want to search for any log file, for example, ls-l, I'm giving pipe symbol and I'm giving grep and dot log. See, so when we give ls-l, it will list all the files in detailed manner like this, like above. From that result, we give pipe symbol. That means the keyword which you are giving after the pipe symbol, it will work on the result of a previous command. This is the previous command, and this grep is act upon previous command result. Okay, so now we are giving grep application.log. So we are searching for application.log from the result of previous command. So previous command result is this one, and in that result, if we give, for example, if we give ls-l, it will give result this. From this result, it will check for application.log file. So then it will result that entire line. See, this is that one. Result is so ls-l. On that result, I am searching for app.log. So it will give that line, and we will see ls pipe grep. So it was giving that file name alone, because here we give ls simply, because when we give ls, it will give simply that file names alone. So that from there again we are getting for app.log. That's why it is we give that application that log file name alone. For example, ls, I'm giving grep dir. So it will result all the lines which have the keyword dir. So for detailed information, -i, so ls-l grep ls-l grep dir. Here, from the result of this ls-l, then it will search for the word dir. In which lines dir word is there, it will return all those lines. So here we got 5 lines, the dir keyword. Similar way, if we give dir1, it will give that line alone. It will give that line alone. I hope you understand. Grep we can use to search a particular word in a log file or in a particular file, so that we can get the matching lines with that keyword. Same way, we can search upon a result of a command. Here we are giving ls-l is a command. Here ls-l is a command, and grep is acting upon the result of ls-l command. So ls-l will give some result. From that result, again we are filtering for some particular keyword. So it will give the result which matches with that keyword from the result of the command. Similar way, we can apply multiple filters in a while searching log file as well. So earlier what we have done is we searched for some particular keyword in application.log file. Similar way we will do it again. Grep -i grep application. From that result we will check for again. We will add some more filter. To add more filters we need to give pipe symbol and need to give grep. For example, we'll search for exited. So first we gave some grep command and we are searching for some keyword called application in application.log file. Once we got that result, again we are filtering that with the exited keyword, so that first it will get the result. From that result again it will filter again with the exited word and it will result the final result. So I will give the same example once again. We are giving grep application app.log. From that result I need to check once again with a different keyword exited. Here when we are giving the grep command again for more filters, we don't need to give any file name, because here it will take the result of previous command as a content and it will work on it. So if you observe in the second time when we are giving grep, that time we are not giving any file name, because this grep word automatically take the content as a result of a previous command, this one. Okay, the result of a previous command won't show in the command line. It will take from the memory and from there it will filter again. It will give the final output to us. Hope you understand. Our next command is chmod. Chmod stands for change mode. The change mode command is used to change the permissions of a file or directory. In this, for example, here before going to change mode, we'll see some details here. Here the first column represents the permissions. Second column tells us about number of files or directories. In this case it is a file, that is it, by it is showing 1. If it is a directory, like how many number of files or directories within this directory, it will show that number. Here it is showing 4. That means files and folders total 4 are there in this directory. So it will tell about the number of files or folders count. Third column is the user who has the permissions to this file or directory. Fourth one tells us about the group who has the permissions to the file or a directory. In this case, we don't have any groups here. That's why it is showing username alone. Fifth one, tell about the size of a file or a directory. Sixth one, tell us about the last modification time or a date. Last modified date of a file or a directory. Last column tell us about file name or a directory name. Here, permissions related information we can see on a first column. In the first column, the first character will tell us about whether it is a file or a directory. Here in this case, it is showing hyphen. That means it is a file. If it is a directory, it will show as a D. See here, in this case, it is showing D. The first character is showing as a small d. That means it is a directory. So here, all these are directories. That is why it is showing for all these first character showing as a D. Here on top of all these are all files. That is why it is showing hyphen. These are all files. The last one also is file. That is why it is showing hyphen here. So in this permission section, the first character tells us about whether it is a file or a directory. So now we'll move on to the next. The same section, the next three characters tell us about owner permissions or user permission. Next three characters tell about group permission. The next three characters tell us about others permissions of file or a directory. If it is in this case, it is a directory. So here also for the first character tell us about a directory or a file. So it is a directory. The next three characters tell us about owner permissions to this directory. The next three characters tell us about group permissions to this directory. Next three characters tell us about other members permissions to this directory. Here in the permission section, we'll be seeing either R or W or X. These three characters only will be seen under this permission section from second characters to last character in permission section. So R represents read axis, W represents write axis, X represent execution axis, execution permission, write permission, read permissions. Hyphen represents no permissions, permission denied. So here for app.log file, owner have a full permission. Full permission means owner having read access, write access and execution access. Also group also having full permissions. Full permissions means read access, write access, execution access. And others having read only access to the app.log file. They don't have write permission and they don't have execution permission. So for example, if we are seeing here, we are seeing R-X. That means this is the others section. So others having read access to directory 2 and they don't have a write permissions and they have a execution permissions to directory 2. So here they have a read permission. They don't have a write permission, but they have a execution permission as well. And if you see for directory 1, others, if you see this is the others section. So in others, for others, they have a read permission, they don't have a write permission, they don't have a execution permissions to directory 1. So while giving permissions to a file or a directory, we will be using numbering system. So numbering system means like so here we are using RWX, right? So for each character they have their own number. So here it is showing nothing. Nothing means usually it's a 0. And if you want to give execution permissions alone, then we'll give 1. If you want to give write permissions, you have to give 2. Read permissions, we have to give 4. If you want to give write and execution, we have to give 3. So like that numbering system will be there. So for understanding more about this numbering system, we'll go to my website. You can see more details over there and we can understand easily as well. Here chmod command stands for change mode, and chmod command is used to change the permissions of a file or directory. If we come down, we have seen this detailed explanation. You can go through this. Zero means no writes, 1 means execution only, 2 means write only permissions, 3 means the combination of these two. That's why it's 3. 3 means for execution permission and write permission. So both will be having execute and write. The 4 stands for 4 is for read only. The 5 is for read and execute permissions. The combination of 4 plus 1. That means 5. That means read and execution permissions. 6 means read and write permission. 7 means full permissions. That means read, write, execution. So you can also see the numbering system, how the 7 came. 4 plus 2 plus 1. That means 7. This is how we'll give permissions to a file or a directory. So we'll give numbers. So number is means we'll give any one of these number. So if you give 7, it means full permissions. If you give 6, read and write permission. If you give 5, read and execute permission, like that. If you give 2, it will be write permission. Write permission. If you give 1, execution only permission. So now we'll go to Linux and we'll see how we'll give practically. Now I will try to give full permissions to app.log file. So chmod for first one is for user, that means owner. For owner we are giving 7, that means owner will be having full permissions. Second one is group, so second one also I am giving 7, that means 7 group also will be having full permission. Third one is other section, others also will be having full permission. For which file we need to give that, whether a file or a directory. In this case I am trying to give app.log file. So before I press enter, if you observe, currently for app.log file, owner have a full permission. It means owner have a RWX. Group also have a full permission. That means RWX. But others have only read permissions. They don't have a write permission, they don't have a execution permissions. After pressing this, so the permissions will be changed. Now the permissions will be changed. To see that, ls-l, see, earlier others was having read-only permission, they don't have a write permission and execution permission. Now others having full permissions. Similar way, now let's example, take example like we don't want to give any permissions to others. So chmod for user, for a owner will be giving full permission, for a group also will be giving full permissions, for others you don't want any permissions. That means 0 amp.log, press enter, let's say -l. See now the result. See, others won't have any permissions to this app.log file. So give it 0 means no writes. That means no read access, no write access, no execution access. Or if you want to give execution permission alone for others, now we'll see. Now others having execution permission alone. This way we can change the permissions. As of now, we are changing the permissions to other group only, others only. Now we'll change the permissions for a group as well. So we'll give 7 for owner. So we are giving full permissions to owner. And for group, we want to give read only permissions. That means 4. 4 means read only permission. And for others, we don't want any permissions. That means we are giving 0. That means no permissions to others. We need to give file name. See, here we are giving full permissions to owner, read only permissions to group, and no write permission, no execution permission. And the last 3 represents others. Others have no write, no read, no write, no execution. Nothing is there for others. Similar way, we can change the permissions to directories as well. To change the permissions to directory, chmod. Here we want to give full permissions to owner. We want to give read only permissions to group. Read only means we need to give 4. And we don't want to give any permissions to others. That means 0. And we need to give the directory. We'll give dir5. You see, D stands for directory. And the first 3 represents, after directories, the first 3 represents owner permissions. Owner have a full permissions. Here first 3 characters after D represents owner permissions. Owner have a full permissions. And next 3 represents group permissions. Group have a read only permissions. The final last 3 represents others permissions. Others don't have any permissions. No read access, no write access, no execution access. This is how we'll be changing permissions to a file or directory. If you don't want to give full permissions to owner as well, we can do that one as well. So chmod, we don't want to give execution permissions to owner. then we can omit execution permissions. We can give read and write access, that means 6. For a group, we don't want to give write and execution permissions. We want to give only read permissions, that means 4. For others, we don't want to give any access, that means we can give 0. Next, we have to give a file name or a directory name. So here we'll give file. See here, owner having read and write permissions but no execution permissions to app.log file. Group having read permissions alone, no write access, no read, no execution access, only read access to group for app.log file. For others, there is no access because for others we gave 0. That's why they don't have any access. For a group we gave 4. That's why others having only read access, no write and no execution. For owner, we gave a 6. That means read and write, no execution permissions to app.log file. This is how we can give permissions to a file or a directory. Our next command is df. This command is used to display the disk space information of a file system. Here the disk space information is showing in a kbase. So we have one more command to share the same information in a human readable format, that is df-h. Now we are able to see the data in a human readable format. Here it will share the information of a file system and size of a file system, used space and available free space and the percentage of used space on and mounted on where this file system is mounted. If you want to see some specific columns alone also we can do. Let's see what it will display. Like this we can display which columns we want. If you want to see mounted on and used percentage alone also we can display. Like this we can display mount information alone and along with the used percentage of those mounted information. And we can also do one more thing, awk command which we will discuss in upcoming sessions. Like this, we can display the displays mounted displays information which is greater than 30. So if you give like this, it will display all the displays information and mount details. But here again we are giving some condition saying the second column value should be greater than 30, then those mount information only it should display. We give that condition. So we'll see about this AWK command in the next session. And we can also assign this content to some file. First we'll see where we are. Currently we are in /home/Hari directory, and we'll give some file name to store this data. To do that, have to give df-h, and so now we have stored the content in a df_info.log file. So this log file contains the result of df-h. Now we'll see. See, the entire information it is stored in a file now. Like this, we can store the data in a file as well. We can see the data by giving df. If we want to, if we want to display the data in human readable format, we can give df-h. And also, if you want to, see some specific mount information alone, also we can do. I'm giving slash, so it will display the slash mount information alone. See, showing the only this mount information alone, because I gave the mount information here. So otherwise, if you want to see the data of this mount information, we can go df-h. I'm giving the mount information, so it will give that mount information alone. Or we'll see, we'll give more mounts, more than one mount. So that one also we can do. We can add one more mount as well. I will add this one. Now we gave three mounts. This is one, this is the second one, this is the third one. How many mounts we give, it will display only those mounts information alone. Or if we give nothing, it will display all mounts displays usage information. Like this, we can get a complete displays usage information or related to some specific mount information. Next command is cut command. Cut command is used to extract some specific section of content from a file or some specific columns of data from a file or from lines of data. For example, I will give I'm giving some content here. Echo is used to display the data which is in within double quotes. So by using this data, we'll give cut command. So it's returning entire data. Cut -d. We are giving space to cut that data. Wherever the space is there, it will divide that entire sentence to words or columns. And from that, I'm asking to display first column. -F1 means it will display first column. So first column is Hari is the first word. So it will display the first word. If you want to display second, it will display second. Usually it will display the columns. Here, since there is only one line, so it will display. It will looks like it's a word second word it displaying, but usually it will display the second column of a output of a previous command. So the input for the cut command is the output of a previous command is echo Hare Krishna 35 India. This is the command. The result of this command will go to the input of cut command. So for that cut command, use the output of previous command and it is divided with a space and it will return second column. If we give 3, third column. If we give 4, it will return fourth column. So we can also get the characters. If we give -b, give 1, display first character, 2, display second character. If we give 1 to 4, it will display from 1 to 4 characters. 1 to, if you give 1 hyphen, it will display complete information from 1 to 10, display 1 to 10 characters like this. Can also give 5 to 10. From 5 to 10 characters it will display. From bytes, actually it will display in a form of bytes. It will collect the bytes information. Similar way for characters also we have a C. This one also similar to bytes information. It will display first one, second character, 1 to 4, to 10, 4 to 10, 16. Most of the time we use cut-d method and we'll give delimiter with which we need to divide the content and we'll give hyphen, we'll give the column. Similar way we'll change the content a little bit and see hyphen, or we'll give pipe symbol. Now if you will give, it will display complete information because we are telling like we are asking to divide with a space, but there is no space, so that it will consider as a complete content as a single and it will display the entire thing. So if we give the delimiter properly, now we give pipe symbol and we are asking to cut wherever the pipe symbol is there, divide the content with it and return the first column. So it will return first column. If you give 2, it will return second column. So it will divide with the pipe symbol and make it as a columns. First column is Hari, second column is Krishna, third column is 35, fourth column is India. So if you give 4, it will be India. Like that, it will divide the content with the delimiter and it will return the respective column which we ask. For example, usually we will see this kind of thing in application when we're searching for some error or something like that in application logs. That time we will use this command. For example, see, we are asking here grep the info word from application log file, and from that we are asking to display last 5 lines. So we got 5 lines here in this previous command. From that 5 lines again, we are asking to divide the content with a space, so that it will divide the content with a space, make it as a columns. From that columns, display the first column. So this is the first column. So it will display those first column information. Because there are 5 lines, that is why we received 5. If you say second column is the time here. That is why we are getting time information alone. And if we ask for third column is info word, so that we will use fourth column. Fourth column is, so it will display the next column data. This is the fourth column in this line. This will be the fourth column in this line, because we are dividing with space. So wherever the space is there, it will divide the content with the spaces. Like that, we can cut the data and we can display whatever data we need. Next command is awk. Awk command also used to extract columns of data from the file or content, or we can also filter based on some conditions. Awk command, to see that we will go for we'll use awk. It is similar to cut command. So here awk command, by default it will take, if you don't give any delimiter, it will take a space as a default delimiter, and it will return. Here we are asking for a first column, so that's why it is giving first column. Give 2, it will give second column, third column. So if you want to give any specific delimiter, you have to give -f, like this. Like this we can give. So we'll change some, some spaces to some hyphen. So this one also give complete information if there is no spaces, there is no delimiter in the content, means it will give complete information. And if we give delimiter properly, it will divide the content with the delimiter as the columns, and it will return the specified requested column. Here we requested for first column, so that I gave first column. For example, if you want to get the last column value, you can also get it here. $nf means it will go for last column. If you specify anything, it will display that column. We'll see with the df-h. Let's say we'll use awk on this. So here I'm asking to print, we are not giving any delimiter, so that it will take a default delimiter as a space, and from that we're asking to print nf, $nf. It means we want this last column, and okay, I will give this one later so you don't confuse. And I'm asking for a last column, and I'm asking for a fifth column. Fifth column is the first one, the size is the second one, used is the third one, available is the fourth one, used percentage is the fifth one. So I'm asking to last one and used one. I'm asking to print those two columns. We'll see what happened. See, here we are seeing mount information, next to that percentage, used percentage. So here it's getting confused because this information is coming as a combined data, so that I'm giving some space between those two columns. See, now we are seeing some space between the mount and the result. And from this, I want to see only the mount information, which is the mount used percentage is more than 30 or 35. For example, $5 greater than 35. I'm saying to display only the mount percentage is more than 35. I'm asking to display that one alone. So now you're seeing the mount space crossed to 35 percentage. We are seeing those mounts information alone. Like this, we can filter the condition in AWK. Next command is ps-ef. The ps-ef command is used to display currently running processes on the system. It provides detailed information about each process, including the process ID, parent process ID, the user running the process, processor utilization, start time, and the command that initiated the process. If we give ps space -ef command, we will get this information. It contains process ID, is the process ID, parent process ID, the user ID who is running the process, and the start time, and the command that initiated this process. Here it will display all the process information which is currently running and the commands which is triggered those processes. We can see those commands also. If you want to kill any process, or if you want to terminate any process, we will be using kill command. So our next command is kill. The kill command is used to send signals to processes requesting them to terminate or to stop the specified process. Before we execute kill command, I will just run some other command. Now we will give again ps-ef. Now we see we started a top command so that we are able to see the process which is running top command. Now we'll try to kill this process which is running the top command. So to do that, we have to give kill space process ID. We have to give here for the top command. The process ID is 104. 104 is the process ID. So that will give 104. Now we will see the result. To check that, we have to give ps-ef and see whether that top command terminated or not. But here still again top command still is showing under running process list. So it means when you give kill space process ID, it is not killed. So we'll next time we'll give ps-9 space PID. Here PID is 104. This is one way to kill the process. Here what we are doing is we are giving -9 additionally. What it will do is it will forcefully kill the process. So now I'm giving enter. So to check that, see here it is showing one killed, that is top command is killed. That process which is running top command, it is killed because we gave 104, give process ID, so that process ID has been killed. To verify that, again give ps-ef. See now the process which is running top command is not showing, that command itself also not showing. See earlier in top side we are seeing the top command, so this has been killed, so that remaining information we are able to see. This is how we will kill the process if it is not required, if it gets stuck like that in real time. But when you are using kill command, you have to be very cautious. You have to discuss with the team leads before doing anything. So when we are using this kill command real time, you have to be very careful because it will kill the process forcefully and which will terminate all relevant sub process which are linked with this process which we are killing. So that is why we will be very cautious. We won't be using frequently this command. This is for knowledge purpose. I'm sharing this. Okay. Our next command is free. The free command is used to display information about the system's memory issues. It provides information about total memory, used memory, free memory, and other memory related statistics. If we give free and press enter, we will see all memory related information here. So here total memory and used memory and free memory it will display, and other memory related information like shared memory, cache memory, total available memory kind of thing it will display. And the swap memory details also it will display. Next command is top command. The top command is a real-time system monitoring tool that provides an interactive view of system processes and resource utilization. It displays dynamic updated list of running process along with information about CPU usage, memory usage, load average, and other system statistics. When we run top command, it opens an interactive interface that continuously refreshes to show the latest information. The top command displays two types of information. One is systems summary and the other is process list information. About system summary, the top section of the top interface shows system wide information including current time, system uptime, number of logged in users, load average, and CPU usage summary. The second part is process list. The main section of the top interface displays a list of running process. Each process entity includes information such as process ID, CPU usage, percentage, memory usage, process state, execution time, and command name. Here it shows number of tasks running, total tasks, and number of the tasks running. 4 in sleep state, 1 is in running mode, 0 stop, load average information, users, time, memory related information, under the system section. Here in process ID, under process list, process IDs, and the commands which initiated the process. Like that, we can see the all information, like the percentage CPU utilized, percentage memory utilized. This information we can see. So to come out of this top command section, you have to give Q. So once you press Q, you will come out from this section. See. Next command is history. It will display all the commands which you run past time. If you give history and press enter, you will see all the commands which you ran recently. For example, if you give -10, it will give last 10 commands which you ran recently. If you give 50, it will give last 50 commands. Give 5, give last 5 commands.